Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that completely transformed how I connect with people online and, honestly, how I run my business. We're going to dive deep into the power of personal stories. I know you've probably heard it before, tell your story, but what does that actually mean? And how do you do it in a way that doesn't feel self-indulgent or just plain awkward? Stick with me, because I'm going to break down a simple, powerful framework that will help you build trust and create real, lasting connections with your audience. So, why are stories so powerful? Think about it. When you're scrolling through your feed, what stops you? Is it another polished ad with a perfect stock photo? Or is it a post that makes you feel something? Personal stories build trust, relatability, and an emotional connection way faster than any promotional content ever could. They show the human behind the brand. They prove you're not just a faceless entity trying to sell something. You're a real person who has faced challenges, learned lessons, and has genuine experiences to share. Authenticity and vulnerability are your superpowers here. Real, raw experiences will always outperform perfectly polished ads because people connect with people, not with corporations. Let me tell you a little story from my own journey. A few years ago, I was really struggling to grow this channel and my online business. I was doing everything by the book, posting consistently, using the right hashtags, creating what I thought was valuable content. But the growth was painfully slow. I was burning out, feeling like I was just shouting into a void. I felt like a total failure. I remember sitting there, staring at my analytics, seeing barely any engagement, and thinking, what am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. It was a huge moment of self-doubt. That period of struggle, though, taught me a critical lesson. I realized I was hiding. I was so focused on being professional and perfect that I was letting any of my real personality show. I was sharing information, but I wasn't sharing myself. The breakthrough came when I decided to just be honest. I made a video much shorter than this one, and I just talked about how frustrated I was, how I was struggling to connect, and I asked my small audience what they actually wanted to see from me. It was terrifying to be that vulnerable. I thought people would think I was unprofessional or a fraud. But the opposite happened. That was the first time I saw a real spike in comments and messages. People didn't judge me, they related to me. They said things like, I'm feeling the exact same way with my own project, or thank you for being so honest. That was my light bulb moment. The lesson I learned was that my audience didn't want a perfect guru, they wanted a guide. Someone who's been in the trenches, made mistakes, and is willing to share the map of how they navigated through it. The outcome, my community started to grow, not just in numbers, but in depth. The conversations became more meaningful, and the relationships felt real. This brings me to the simple story structure you can use: problem, struggle, lesson, and outcome. Let's break it down using my example. The problem was my stagnant growth and feeling like a failure. The struggle was the burnout, the self-doubt, and trying all the conventional tactics without success. The lesson was that vulnerability and authenticity build connection, not perfection. And the outcome was a stronger, more engaged community and a renewed sense of purpose for my content. See how that works? It's a natural narrative arc that everyone can follow and relate to. Your story doesn't have to be some epic, life-changing drama. It can be a small challenge, a client interaction that went wrong, a project that failed, or a time you felt lost. The key is to choose a story that's tied directly to your niche. Now, how do you connect this back to your audience? Your story is the bridge. You need to explicitly connect the lesson you learned to their pain point or their goal. After sharing my story, I could say, if you're feeling stuck and like you're not getting any traction, maybe it's not your strategy that's wrong. Maybe you're not letting enough of you shine through. Your audience wants to connect with a real you, just like mine did. This positions you as an empathetic guide who understands their journey because you've been on a similar one yourself. You're not just selling a solution. You're sharing a piece of your hard-earned wisdom. Let's get really specific and talk about how you can tie this into something like birthday marketing, which might seem completely unrelated. It's a great opportunity for storytelling. You could share a story about a birthday where you had a major personal or professional turning point. Maybe on your 30th birthday you decided to finally quit your job and start your business. Tell that story. Problem: you were unfulfilled. Struggle: the fear of leaving a stable job. Lesson: life is too short not to pursue your passion. Outcome: you started your dream business. Or you could talk about client retention. Maybe you share a story about a time you almost lost a client because you forgot to acknowledge their company's anniversary or a key milestone, their business's birthday. You can talk about the struggle to win them back, the lesson you learned about the importance of personal touches, and the outcome of implementing a system to remember these important dates, which has since improved all your client relationships. This is a brilliant way to showcase the value of what you do. Say, if you sell a CRM or a client management course without ever having to say, buy my product, the story does the selling for you by demonstrating the real-world impact. You're showing, not just telling. The final piece of the puzzle is your call to action. After you've opened up and shared your story, you've created a moment of connection. Don't let it go to waste. Your call to action shouldn't just be buy my stuff. It should be an invitation to continue the conversation. Ask a question that encourages them to share their own experience. For example, what's a struggle you faced that ended up teaching you a valuable lesson? Share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. Or, if this resonated with you, share this video with someone who might need to hear it today. You can also invite them to send you a direct message if their story is more personal. This turns passive viewers into active community members. You're building a dialogue, not just a monologue. Remember, the goal of sharing your story is to position yourself as a guide, not a hero or a seller. A hero stands on a pedestal, perfect and untouchable. A guide walks alongside you, pointing out the pitfalls they've already fallen into and showing you the safer path. People don't buy from heroes, they trust and follow guides. Your vulnerabilities, your mistakes, and your struggles are not weaknesses to be hidden. They are your greatest assets in building a loyal, engaged, and trusting audience. They are what make you human, and in a crowded online world, being human is the ultimate competitive advantage. So my challenge to you today is this. Think of one story, just one that follows that simple framework of problem, struggle, lesson, and outcome. A story that is uniquely yours and connects to what you do. You don't have to share it right away. Just write it down. Get comfortable with it. See how it feels, and when you're ready, share it. I promise you, the connection you'll build will be worth the moment of vulnerability it takes to hit post. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on building a brand with heart. And seriously, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me one lesson you've learned on your own journey. Let's start a conversation. Until next time, keep sharing your story.